Rainbow 50 Plus and to our health talk, another session of our health talk. If you're joining us online or in any other social media, you'll find our address on the screen. We are in Liverpool, 2592261 Bowler Street. That is where our center is located. We meet every Tuesday. This is Rainbow 50 Plus community. As a matter of fact, we are truly a community because we care for each other, we love each other, we enjoy together, we do stuff together. We've just finished our exercises now, and we are on to a very short session of health talk. So if you are anywhere around us, please feel very free to join us. That is our address on the board. Feel very free to join us. And if you have any message or any question, any clarification to make, you can always send the messages to our email, which is right there on the board as well. Once again, I welcome us all. We have a very, very sensitive topic to talk about today. It's a topic which I'm sure must have touched each one of us one way or the other. Either a friend has been affected, a family member has been affected, or maybe even us. But what is important to us today is how we can have a little bit more information. Hopefully, that information will help us to prevent it. And the topic is cancer prevention awareness. This is part one of it. And we want to look at common causes of cancer. We want to see, because oftentimes, people have said, oh, when you eat the right kind of food, when you do the right kind of exercise, when you live healthily, then you can prevent it. But then we want to ask ourselves, what exactly are we preventing? Well, how did we come across it? Where is it coming from? And what exactly it is? And that's my name. My name is G. Abimbola. But first we want to ask ourselves, how big is the problem around cancer? How big is it? At one point or the other, we would have heard, oh, this person has breast cancer, that other one has prostate cancer, that other one has cancer of the colon, and we go, oh, and it's always very, very sad when we hear news like that. But we are so grateful to God and to science, because nowadays most of these cancers are being cured or being put in remission at least. But how big is the problem? If we look at statistics, we realize that 18.1 million new cases of cancer are diagnosed every single year. Every single year, 18.1 million. In the UK, at least in every 90 seconds, one case of cancer is being diagnosed in the UK alone. Much more in America, but because we are in the UK, every 90 seconds, you have one case being diagnosed. And so every year, around 393,000 people in the UK are being diagnosed. Talk about people who are not being diagnosed. Talk about people who know that something is going on, but they would rather just be quiet, not wanting to put themselves through all sorts of stress. So this, as a matter of fact, is a massive, massive issue. So what is cancer? Is there a single way of describing or defining cancer? It is, as a matter of fact, a complex disease. Very, very, very complex. It can be categorized into hundreds of different diseases based on the cells in which it arises. As a matter of fact, this training has come out of a training both of us, Dr. Johnson and myself, attended over the 2 weeks break we had. We attended a session of awareness on cancer, and we were being encouraged to cascade the information, to share it as wide as possible, to let the knowledge, go back to our communities, Not that we don't know all these things. Most of this stuff we already know, but it's always helpful to focus on it again and again. And we know that it's important for us as well. We've talked about it in the past, particularly around the kind of foods, the kind of exercises, but we just thought that it's important to bring this sort of broad overview around how to prevent cancer, the first part of it, to us again. Amen. We may not be able to do big research or do big academic studies and all, but we are interested in our community preventing cancer, saving more lives, passing on the information to other people. So we will attempt to make this discussion a very basic one. We will not go into all the complex stuff which was part of the training we had. But we want to look now at the stages by which cancer develops at a very basic level. What are the stages by which cancer develops? So the first noticeable stage is when healthy cells acquire the ability to grow uncontrollably, as I mentioned earlier on. So when these cells become cancerous, then they begin to grow erratically and they mutate. That is, they change from being healthy to becoming unhealthy. And that's when we say they mutate. And when they mutate, sometimes when the treatment is not effective, or when it is left undetected for so long, they could travel around to other organs of the body to affect other organs other than the one where they were first discovered. So we say they invade and damage normal body tissues. So in terms of development, they develop in multiple stages. You can have the first stage as precancerous. For those of us who have done surgeries before, I have done a surgery, and one of the first things the surgeons were interested in was to test the tissue from where they did the operation on me to find out if it was cancerous or not. Thankfully, the tissue that they took out was non-cancerous. So, but in some cases, they are able to catch the cancer very early, and we call that pre-cancerous. It has only just started, it has not become so mad or erratic. So they just catch it and they begin the treatment. So that first stage, they call it precancerous, and then it goes on and on. We talked about the, mutating cancers to become extremely malignant, that is very, very dangerous. So, and at this time, they become malignant tumors. But we have been informed that not all cancers form tumors, but different cancers can develop at different rates. So sometimes cancer cells spread from their original site and they begin to travel around. They are like scavengers, just invading different parts of the body. They travel through the bloodstream or lymphatic system. And when they are traveling like this, the doctors say it has metastasized. They call it metastasis. That is, it's like trying to take over other parts of the body. It's like when you have a plant and that plant is not being nourished. What should happen when cancer is not being nourished is it will not move from the same spot. That is, when you are taking steps to treat that cancer, then that cancer will not prosper. It will just stay on the same spot and it cannot travel. It will be located in the place where it is. But the second part of this discussion, not today, at another time, will delve more into what simple steps we can take, apart from the big steps that the doctors will take in the hospitals to kill off or to starve cancer cells. We can actually starve them. When they are starved, they are not able to travel, they are not healthy, they are weak. But when they are being fed with all the stuff they need, it's like a child jumping up and down, very healthy, going to the sitting room to see what's going on there, going to that other bedroom to see what's going on there, going to the kitchen. So, I mean, it's not funny, but it's good as we are just, you know, making light of it. So cancerous cells, when they are not restrained through treatment, they want to see what is going on in other parts of the body. I mean, I just pray that that will not happen to us. So we will never experience any metastasis or anyone who we know. So another question is, where does cancer occur? As we said before, cancer is a very it's a very terrible kind of disease. It will affect the skin. They have cancer of the skin, cancer of the bone, blood vessels, muscles, lungs, kidneys, prostate, breast, everywhere. Many other organs which you cannot just be listing. The list, the cancer of the eye, yeah. Cancer of the mouth cancer. It is endless. And you know, it can affect the immune system, which plays a key role during both its development and progression. We have often discussed in this group that the kind of foods we want to eat are the foods that will strengthen our immune system, that is, give us the immunity for our body to do what it has been designed to do, to fight for itself. So there are some foods, when you eat them, it makes your body fight all sorts of, starting with infections, common colds, and so on, even to cancerous cells. The body is strong enough to shake it off, to say, get away from me. So part 2 of this session will elaborate on those kinds of foods, those kinds of exercises, just as we have done today, and those kinds of lifestyles that we need to develop over time, especially as older people. As older people, the body tends to want to rest. Oh, I don't want to fight anymore. But it's up to us to say, oh, fight a little bit more. Fight a little bit more. You have been created to fight. Just go on and fight off what you don't need. So these are the kind of things that I will be talking about in the part 2 of this session.